Hi, I'm Daniel, and this is the third and final part of my Best Animated Short Oscar-winning ranking. If you want to hear my introduction to the 92-year-old category, as well as the bottom 62, watch the first two parts. However, you could pretend it's just the 30 best, yes, aside from when I occasionally mention one of the O-pacing shorts. From here, all shorts are pretty great, and some even all-time classics. There's good reason to recommend any of them, so my explanation sounds interesting, then give it a watch. Most will be on this playlist linked below. Enough opening onto the final 30. 30, A Christmas Carol. There has been so many adaptations of this, and none will ever top the Muppet. This is still pretty great and book accurate. This manages to condense the story in 20 minutes and includes most events as your quotes. It can be good as a revision speed run, but that's also a fault in how quick everything happens with no breathing room. The scene with Bob carrying Tiny Tim on his shoulders looks like he is running back. This fast cutting is awkward at times, but feels like a higher reel of the story. But I think this remains engaging for Richard Williams' direction. The animation is chilling and expressive, same with the whole general atmosphere conveying the darkness is also a enjoyable story. This contrasts with music, or some scenes having no music, still for dramatic effect really well. Overall, a solid adaptation coming from Ernest over the source material rather than trying to beat the definitive adaptation. 29, The Cat Concerto. This is a really great Tom and Jerry short and seems to be the fan favourite. I see why, even if there's another one I prefer. This has Tom playing the piano and fighting Jerry who's inside the piano and stopping him from stopping. This has fun with setup and took attention to make the notes he's playing correct, which is probably why it ended up winning the award. This also came with controversy with Looney Tunes having the show Rhapsody Rabbit the same year, and judging by detail, you're a non-color copy of the other. I see why this was an Oscar contender, but I slightly prefer that. This might be my Looney Tunes over Tom and Jerry bias, but that played around with how Bugs played the piano by jumping on it, generally being more funny. It also had Bugs shoot an audience member. However, both have merit with this concept, and this is especially a great cartoon. 28, The Critic. This involves Mel Brooks voicing an old man watching this experimental movie and constantly commenting on it. This guy's comments is really funny. I just better watch it Yas younger. Or have his commentary on other things. The way he overanalyzed everything and his response to being increasingly unhinged, saying he's gonna die soon anyway, is funny. I like how we don't even see what he looks like, and we're just like feels like we're watching a cinema screen with him in the same room. 27, Creature Comfort. While it's probably ironic seeing Nick Park's younger passion project Van Day Out end up using to a 5-minute show he also made, it's deserved by the quality difference, and the Wallace and Gromit franchise getting more later. This takes real interview footage and puts it over stop motion animals in a zoo that all sound so casual that it works getting the charm across here. Aardman did a good job getting the tone just right here with some comedy, but it's not over the top and quite yo. They made a full series of Creature Comforts that didn't have the charm captured the same, but it's still a good format to use nevertheless. 26, Tango. First I wonder how it's counted as animated short. Its set doesn't move, and its editing is live action footage on top of each other. It's more creative editing, I won't count it. That doesn't matter since it qualified and won, which it probably deserved. This shows different cycles of people entering and leaving a room in a loop. It starts with a boy repeatedly throwing in and returning a ball, then has a woman dropping a baby in a crib and it keeps going. This adds so much layer to repeated cycles that don't overlap and look natural together. It's interesting how progressively chaotic and crowded this begins to look, with the music adding to its feel, showing the mundanity of life and how many lives are going on at once. I like it, but still it could be boring to some. It eventually becomes hard to notice what's new or even see when it starts to shrink. Also, while I became numb to draw nudity by the end of this marathon, this repeating the same video over and over again is too much. Good experimental video, the type of thing that will got popular in the late 2000s YouTube. 25, Special Delivery. This is a fun one, it's not really a mystery, but feels like one of the ways the computer plot wraps itself up. What starts with a husband not clearing off his front yard resolves in a series of wacky hijinks that are really funny to watch unfold as these stakes progress. I don't want to give much away, but it's funny and clever. The animation had a good hand-drawn appeal and has some good camera zooms. I saw you watch to come out of this project out one of the last couple I watched. 24, Three Little Pigs. I don't think I need to explain the story, that was like you made to sell bricks by brick companies. It's charming, and that's what makes it one of the best classic Disney shorts, as well as the song Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf being really catchy. There's also a visual joke in the background of a sausage being able father, that is probably talked about more than the short as a whole. 23, The Man Who Planted Trees. From the same director who did Crack, the short film I mean, we get this, but I didn't know where to rank. It's beautiful and amazing, but also boring throughout the other 30 minutes. I tried watching it again to see if it might improve, but I felt more boring the second time. Still, its animation is incredible with the colours and general movement creating atmosphere with the sound effects of wind and birds adding so much to this. This is similar to a Ninjago backstory but younger, which I think is a great style. The narrator telling the story of the time he met this single man who changed life and nature is really profound and personal feeling. I wouldn't feel right calling it as a major as more people do, but it's a really important film worthy of the Oscar. 22 Father and Daughter. This is from Michael DeWitt, who later directed the Red Turtle movie, which I find amazing. From this, you can easily tell why Ghibli collaborated with him with the music and sense of nature being very similar and great. This uses visuals of silhouette and bike to show the relationship to your father and daughter throughout the years. It's very artistic and effective as it enters near the end, which is a sign of a brilliant short film. 21 Tin Toy. It's time we as a society stop dismissing the whole short joke of the baby looks terrifying. I get it, that face and the way it moves is a sign of outdated ACG. Still, there's a so influential Pixar, both technology-wise and being the ground point for Toy Story's themes and story. Tin Toy's design is very cute and expressive, and Phineas has fun comedy when trying to escape the baby. I could have seen Tolkien making reference to horror tropes with this. I like the sight of the other toys hiding under the couch and the message of Tin Toy getting out to change in perspective. It's a good first guess on the toy shop and connection, as well as being a fun show without dialogue to tell the story. While I like Yoxo Jr., this really feels like the beginning of Pixar. 20. Der Führer's Face. There's a good chance you see an image of this out of context at the Donald Duck Nazi short that Disney tries to hide. Some might even know it was made at II propaganda as satire in Nazi Germany, and I think it holds up pretty well as that. It's mostly commentary on the work rate, doing young hours on a conveyor belt machine to produce things. This does a good job mocking the dictatorship through the conditions and yet free fall with the constant need to hire. Putting Donald Duck in the setting with withheld anger is just a funny combination. This may forever be his only Oscar win. The ending may be very patriotic, but considering the time period, it is deserved and worth an Oscar win. This also was a catchy song that isn't a type of song you'll want stuck in your head, but ignoring that potential issue, I would say it's worth seeing at least once. 19. Anna and Bella. This is two sisters now all reminiscing over their life, and it's very nice and wholesome short. It's really charming seeing the way you cut between time periods, especially with the art style and changing colours being somewhat bland, but fitting one dominant colour for each flashback. I like also when the memories are made more vivid and creative, like this one animal transformation part. The music is also very charming and uplifting to listen to. I like how the past shows some facts disagreements, but they can be left in the past for the sake of remembering it. That ending, however it can be interpreted, just adds this strangely optimistic feel this gives off. It's a good show to watch and feel good about life. 18. The Danish Poet. Torture poetry is one of my favourite genres, but this takes an interesting route. It shows the past and the many coincident patterns that create life. It's kind of made to be a nice thought for where these events could lead to. I also like the animation about everything is shaped, even if it looks like it's cheap at first. Also, this has the line, remember when a relative dies you go to the funeral, even if they're Danish. Truer poetry has never been written. 17. Buoyant. Sometimes I don't care about depth and think a short can work by just making the premise entertaining. This is just a bunch of creepy stop-motion looking men on the surface with a crate trying to keep buoyant while one sabotages them. This is apparently a metaphor of capitalism that can be on the eyes. This is carried by just its tone and the constant need to stay in competition to avoid their end. No wise or housing how they got there is known, but this expert used coherent sound to feel dread in this great short film worthy of a win. 16. Quiet Peas. This is top tier Tom and Jerry. I know I prefer when it's not just in a house. This works so well constantly changing what's occurring and who has power over the other. This is helped by adding a third entity Spike the dog, and him watching the violence happening is funny to see his reaction too. He wants to sleep and threatens Tom if he gets waken up. This starts with Jerry having the option to wake Spike, but eventually flips and continues doing more with this premise. It never gets old and keeps constantly having great visual humour through text and some weapons they somehow have. This is very aware of how cartoony Tom and Jerry is and has so much fun with it. Very funny and great short, and I was expecting Tom and Jerry to be this great. 15. Gerald McBoing Boing. Here's a Dr. Seuss adaptation for a book I wasn't familiar with, but his rhyming charm is always fun to listen to. Out of avoid the say what child metaphors that I've seen, a child only makes noise instead of speaking, honestly one of my favourites. Gerald only wants to boing and have fun. This rigid society isn't getting him. This society ends with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer syndrome, but I can get past of how fun this is. This animation is so colourful and bouncy, filled with so much personality. This is a classic short I'm glad I discovered. 14. Hair of. This may have got just slightly overpraised at release, but it's still high on this list for a reason as a step in the right direction of Sony Pictures Animation, and they put this for Angry Birds movie too. I didn't see that movie in cinemas, but I had a comment on that experience. This short is mainly made by its ending, but even without that, it's still a very wholesome story of a father trying to help with his daughter's hair. It's a very personal and culturally significant short, told without dialogue and through great young 2D animated designs. There's also got a spin-off series, Young Love, that I haven't seen, and while the animation got downgraded, it's probably a good follow-up to this. 13. The Long Trousers. I have made it clear I'm not the biggest album fan, and I've never even saw it on photo this year yet. It is great and easily the second best thing to come from the studio after Christmas. This still has some slower moments in the first half, and I didn't really care much for Wallace and his inventing skills. This just becomes so incredible when it's about these two genius animals against each other. I mean it when I say if they teamed up, they will be unstoppable. Gromit gets suspicious of a new house guest, a penguin named Feathers Mcgraw, who is an expert criminal and a force to be reckoned with. He uses these trousers to get Wallace to steal an expensive diamond, controlled by a crate game in an unironically tense scene. He also has a gun and isn't afraid to just get it out. This penguin is a menace, and I'm both excited and scared to see his return later this year in Vengeance Most Foul. This also has the toy train chase scene that made where all cinema peaked. While I don't enjoy all the first half, the way the plot escalates is superbly done. It's so great at emoting and communicating about dialogue. For how this becomes a crime thriller, considering this is a sequel where a man dog goes to the moon and nothing happens, this is a massive improvement. I see why it's so high regarded even if there's 12 I put higher. 12. The Moon and the Sun and a Magic Conversation. This was a great surprise in one of the younger almost 30-minute special at the service at the end. I didn't read the title right at first, but Sun is spelled with an O as it's about a father and son reconciling, with a fake conversation that was never said. There's also ties to his starting and cueing with a later dreaming his father was the man in the moon. This biographical story rather than the director's life is made so personal and emotionally compelling through this framing device. This is great at imitating the mind and the way people choose to pretend the conversation's happening when it never did. The back and forth between both voices done great, and yet how always switches to see different parties remembered. Sometimes they are bonding and feel closer, but other times arguing about things when the other side of the story being only imagined. This is Marty entering in the middle with the father's backstory, but it's easily made up by the rest. Hearing about this distant criminal father and all the ways he lived and what that caused is brilliant. This has elements of real pictures and videos mixed in with several art styles. It's nothing too inventive, but its bright colours, non-straight lines and constant changing represent the abstract mind so well. This special is so superb at showing a way to process these events, filled with so much symbolism. This can connect to everyone no matter what life they have lived, which is due to how much emotions and general emptiness is explored through this masterpiece. 11. If Anything Happens I Love You. This is Netflix's first and so far only win and is easily worth it. Out of this whole list, I'll argue it had the highest chance to make you cry or at least be moved by it. This is best watched without full details, as it gets pieced together across the short. This involves a married couple receiving silence and black and white. The shows that explore what could be said or done, but there's not really anything to say. After what happens, what can you even say? How do you just keep living after all this happened? This takes a while to realise exactly, but it's quite clear what's happening as you see this opening and just feel the emptiness with the characters. The animation is great expressionist through the human designs and the more expressed than emotion shadows. This is beautiful symbolism. This whole show is just so beautiful and moving to sift through, as something hard to forget about. However, there's also some sound effects, and especially a song in the middle killing its tone for a while. That aspect pushed this back slightly, but this is still brilliant and currently the only good win of the 2020s. With how the most recent three all ends up in part 1. 10. The Old Man and the Sea. Entering the top 10 with this involving a fisherman going out to sea to catch a big fish, and it's hard to explain why this works so well aside from just the atmosphere. I don't normally feel this urge, but this makes sitting on a boat in the grand ocean seem peaceful through its music and mini animation. This takes a beautiful painting aesthetic evident in so many colourful shots like the faces and especially water. This water looks so beautiful in this style, yet also seems realistic in its reflection and all the flows and waves. This would be my favourite water animation if it wasn't for another show I will talk about later on this list. As well as the atmosphere, this greatly conveys the character's feeling going back to sea, and has interesting narration going for it. This feels like a story passed down for generations, and it's really interesting special to watch and experience. 9. For the Birds. I may just be very nostalgic, this Pixar short is very funny. It is very comedy yet, but that works well as exploring these birds with their funny designs and faces. They are all jerks, which adds to this comedy through a mean-spirited tone of them bullying a bigger bird that joins the telephone line. But after they are served exaggerated karma, the bigger birds now yapping at them. Nothing is very earned, but I always have so much fun watching these blue birds do bird things. Speaking of bird things, 8 Birds Anonymous, the only top tier Unitoon short to actually win this award. It's another Sylvester and Tweety cartoon. This changes the format Sylvester gives to a bird eating addiction, or yet each tries to, as escaping addiction is an endless battle. This is very funny dark comedy. It does a good job tackling the seriousness of the subject with Sylvester using it the way he does. The only thing is I don't get why it's just Bird Anonymous instead of Bird Anonymous. That is yes subtle, but this whole short isn't subtle and doesn't need to be. Either way it's still very great. 7 The House of Small Cubes. This one is highly rated, and I yet to see a Yasp on this marathon, and while the 6 I put high, this was probably the best possible conclusion to grasp that feeling. This is amazing in a smaller way rather than being some big bang. This is a dialogue short meant to acquire meaning from the viewer's own life rather than what is basically shown. Not much happens, but it's still just an experience of his old man living in a house by the seaside, but one day a film makes him explore the memories forward in his house. Even with being kept limited and vague, this still sells the emotion of melancholy, built even more by its isolated location. This is full of symbols like the picture, memories, and the fjord. This is very well animated with character design being very emotive, and its colour scheme being appealing to a doormap yellow compared to underwater self-reflective view. This is like Fantasia making animation music lead the story, and it sounds so calm and moving with each element being told through that. Overall, an amazing show worth watching. 6. Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day. I love this franchise, specifically the Disney 5 version of these characters and the many adventures movie with a compilation of 3 previously shorts. I used to think the part in the unjust good and the movie were mainly made by that amazing ending, tying this all together growing up. However, after rewatching this, I realised how I'm still amazed at just a 22-minute special on its own. This bounces across multiple plot lines, which some may find on focus, but I don't mind when all are fun and charming. This just creates so much happiness. Even when showing the danger of fjord, it still has charm and whimsy, partly due to the music being so upbeat. This has multiple great songs like that one, A Very Blustery Day, One More Thing About Tigers, and of course Happy Up the Wheels. While I wasn't scared as a child, it's still something different and mesmerizing in its own way. The animation holds up very well for its cute designs and embracing the storybook side, mainly through the outlines and the moments shown in the book pages. The narrator and general thought for all this come off so sincere and 100 others such a fun place to be. This introduced Tigger, which was nice, and has the plot of finding a new house for Owl. While realistic is ends in a way showing mean-spirited, it's so wholesome seeing the generosity of these characters. Christopher Robin is irrelevant, but that's not unusual for most Winnie the Pooh content. This is also very funny for how some jokes are placed in contrast to this nice old world. The trespasser world joke always gets me. Same with the very idea that Pooh has a gun in this. I've been rambling about that for too long now, but it's so bad I remembered and really deserve to win. 5. The Pink Thing. I know I grew up with some motivation of the Pink Panther, but wasn't and I'm not familiar with this character and franchise. Maybe I should be since this one won an Oscar and it's the best classic cartoon to ever win. This could be due to one of the directors Fritz Feeling being responsible for 4 to 5 of the Unitune wins and some other great shorts. This is so much fun for how it takes full advantage of a simple premise. A painter is trying to paint a house blue, but the Pink Panther keeps painting pink over it to mess with him. This says the about society constantly replacing and removing things, but just creates such a fun conflict and back and forth that never gets old. These designs are so perfect and expressive, like the white guy's increasing frustration and the mischievous Pink Panther. This also just looks cool seeing the different pattern paintings, and I like how it's escalates across the short. The iconic Pink Panther intro is played across the entire short, which should get repetitive, but it's so well fitted to these events. This is a treat, and the only one for you going back to rewatch for fun. 4. Paperman. Both Disney in recent decades have been less consistent to Pixar and quality of short. This was amazing even without using any what if feeling quirks. I'm not normally a big fan of romance, especially when they never had a conversation. I know there's no dialogue here, but it's still kind of annoying. Even so, I can look past that for how fun and brilliant concept of phone paper aviating the hair is. I like seeing all the failed attempts, and the contrast being this fun to the mundane office jobs being discontent. Even the patterns from the paper coming alive works well. Same with the credits adding some epilogue. I've not even got to the main point of discussion being the animation. The lighting on black and white brings such colour and personality to the story. Same with that one use of red. I love when black and white has that one touch of red. This shows the human size and the paper airplane so well, and with the music going with it creates such a strong throughout. I know I saw Wreck Ralph in cinemas, but was too young to remember that experience. I just remember it from constantly watching it. I highly recommend if you've not seen it. 3. Quest. Stop motion shorts by Yive sound feature, one of my favourite specific genres. This remains so engaging for every minute of one character and no dialogue. Just there exploring these different locations. The thing that makes it so amazing is that I constantly change the background as it shows the fear keep going down. This starts with a desert, then a grey door world, and then a dark yet bright sunset contrasted through all these machines. It keeps going further down with different colour schemes that set an incredible tone. There's so much atmosphere here built by the sound effects and the creepy story of exploring the unknown. Despite following a sound monster, this feels very human with the fear and questions tackled. This quest never ending, which feels depressing and empty in a natural way after following. I wish there's some more talk about in regards to the stop motion horror crowd, with this having its own merits unique from that. This animation holds up well with how expressive Sangha can be at points, and it has one of the most powerful cut to be acts I can think of. Give it a watch, it's underrated. 2. Piper. This isn't even the best Pixar short, yet it's made all the way to number 2 in this list. This is just a really cute and beautiful short. While CG animation is often criticized at Yife, this shows why it's such an amazing medium. This has personality with the bird faces, yet it also looks realistic. Mainly through the sand and water looking so incredible, both being realistic, but also leaving so much appeal with the little splashes and the colouring. As well as how visually impressive and beautiful it looks, this is also just an uplifting story about growing up in fear. Piper becoming scared to sea after the splash is funny, but also just feels a relatable situation to be in. I like how they explore and find a way to see the water and the outlook of life. This is just very wholesome, has very charming music and moves the story over dialogue. While Finding Dory is great and underrated, this short easily surpasses it and was so amazing to see it in cinemas. This was a number 1 for most of my marathon, but through time I felt more drawn towards giving the top spot to another. 1. Harvie Krumpet. This over 20-minute short film was directed by Adam Elliott, whose style I think I really love. I still have yet to see Mary and Max, but I've heard strong things about that. And there's another film coming sometime this or next year, Member of a Snail. Whereby looks at the trailer, looks like he's finally using colour. This is black and white and a timer over this character's entire life. This could be easily viral as depressing, which it is in most ways. This starts with showing how bad his life was, having to rest at a time worse for disabled people, and crossing over wars and constant hospital visits. However, this isn't completely bleak because he eventually starts having a carpe diem view of life that has really felt a tone shift. This always keeps a cynical edge, but as things get better as this deadpan narration becomes less dark and more funny. This narration by Jeffrey Rush is so satisfying and get the neutral and upfront view of life across. This special somehow shows the whole life in 20 minutes, with its own quirky traits going for it, mainly the side style being weird stop motion. That isn't the most impressive to look at, but it's a perfect tonal fit. I love the comedy proves how tell-don't show can actually work, and the constant facts across the short also help space out events and feel more connected to Harvey. Harvey doesn't even speak it, so easy to connect to for all of these details. Even nudity works here and begins to show freedom in the short of symbolism. Most of all, this ending is one of the things that has been stuck in my mind since I first watched it. This should be depressing all around, but something about it and witnessing the whole episode up to it feels a way to appreciate Yai for the positives and many negatives. It's a spectacular bittersweet feeling. This masterpiece really connected to me, so I think it deserves to be the best animated short winner. And this is out of 92, so it's even more of an achievement. In conclusion, the number 1 is mainly my opinion as the ones that connect to me the most. Maybe there's some others you like more. Anything in the final third this list could be worth watching, with most in this playlist. In the future, I may consider following up by doing a ranking of best animated song nomination from animated films, or find some way to discuss the best animated feature nominations. For now though, I just feel this was young enough, but I still had fun competing this list across months. This will become one behind next year, though a short that you won't have heard about until nominations are announced. It could be a Spider Within, I don't think it will, but if that one it'll be 33 on this list. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and watching all my other videos. The end.